जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदनंदन जय ब्रजजनरञ्जना जय यमुनातीरवनचारी जय कुञ्जबिहारी जय यमुनातीरवनचारी जय कुञ्जबिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय राधा दामोदर राधे जय राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम जय गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय वर्धन सिंह वर्धन सिंह जय नृसिंह जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौरा हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय हिताय गोप्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति भृंग गोविंद स्वामी निति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयन्ति यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीकृष्णकारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं चैतन्येश्वरं कथाञ्चन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्य नमामितम्। Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. So first of all, wish you all happy Kartik month, happy Damodar month. So as you all aware, this is very special month where there is an offer. Offer is going on. So any devotional service we perform in this month, we will be rewarded 100 times more benefit than usual, like a sale. Like, there is a super sale, it's a spiritual offer basically. So we are all, very blessed, chosen one. We have assembled here to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the Amala Purana. Simply by giving oral reception to Srimad Bhagavatam, one will be freed from Shoka Moha Bhayavapaha. So there is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter 7, verse number 7. It says, Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsam Shoka Moha Bhayavapaha. So meaning, simply giving oral reception to the Srimad Bhagavatam, the feeling of loving devotional service to the Lord Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. So every day we are having these three problems, right? So we have lamentation. Why do we lament? Something which has done in the past, we kept on lamenting. Oh, I should not have done like this. Oh, this should not have happened to me. So we always lament. Then other one is moha. We are illusion. So we are having a conditioned souls. We are having 4 defects. So we have, what are the 4 defects? We have imperfect senses. We have always illusion. We have a cheating propensity. Then we commit mistakes. So because of this illusion, all these things will happen. Then we are afraid of tomorrow. What is going to happen to me tomorrow? Or, in future, what is going to happen? These 3 things, we are always tormented by 3 problems. But when we take up to the Srimad Bhagavatam, so all these 3 will be extinguished. So that is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, all the great personalities, like, they take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Like we have the example of Shukadeva Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj, so many wonderful devotees. They cannot live with Srimad Bhagavatam. Sanatana Goswami, in the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, Madeka Bandhu Mad Sangin, Mad Guru Man Mahadana, Man Nistaraka Mad Bhagya, Madhananda Namostute. He says, Madeka Bandhu, you are only my relative. Mad Sangin, you are the only my companion. Mad Guru, you are only my Guru. Man Mahadana, you are my only the greatest wealth. Man Nistaraka, Mad Bhagya, you are the only my great fortune. Madhananda, you are the one who always bestow blissfulness to me. Unto that Srimad Bhagavatam, I offer my obeisances. So, like in this case, Parikshit Maharaj, he is a great emperor. He had everything, right? He was cursed to death in 7 days. And then what did he do? So he took shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I remember when I was in school, so I used to be a part of NCC, National Credit Corps. So there, this, army officers, they would come and they would train us. So I hope most of you also are part of that. So during, when we were there, so there was a Indian army has sent a group of people to Sri Lanka. That force was called as IPKF, Indian Peacekeeping Force. So before they deployed all these, soldiers and officers, they gave them 2 weeks of holidays and they gave him 10,000 rupees. I'm talking about, 90s. So 90s, 10,000 used to be a good amount. So what they did, they went and they spent few days with their family members because they were not certain they will come back alive. So that was their consciousness. So that is the reason, the army has also given them 2 weeks of, holidays and 10,000 rupees. So then they spent 2-3 days time with their family members. Then afterwards, 1 week they came to the Bangalore and they were, they're spending their life. So they were in Bangalore is famous for pubs actually. They would go to the MG Road and they go to the pubs and enjoy all those stuff. I mean, this was told to me by that one particular officer. So, that is a consciousness why, the current people has got. But the great personalities are not like that. So they take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam because life is uncertain. We don't know what happens to us very next moment. So they take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So once again, thank you all. We all assembled here to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So indeed, it's an amazing thing to do. We also thank Subal Prabhu and Danishta Mata for engaging all of us in study of Srimad Bhagavatam. So now coming back to this Srimad Bhagavatam. So just a prelude before we start today's session. In the previous chapter, that is chapter 8, Parikshit Maharaj inspires Shukadeva Goswamis to speak Harikatha. So he asked questions about Lord, Jiva, Kala, Karma, and many other things. And he also requests Suta Goswami to answer all the questions he has asked and also answer the questions which he has not asked. Because sometimes what happens, we are having limited knowledge. We may not ask the right questions. So Parikshit Maharaj, he's thinking probably he might have missed out some questions. So he is requesting Shukadeva Goswami to answer the questions which he has not asked if it is relevant to the subject matter. So Shukadeva Goswami started answering all these questions of Parikshit Maharaj, and how he is answering? He is answering by citing the Lord's version. So he is not speculating. He is not concocting. He is not telling something comes to his mind. He is referring to the Lord's version. So that's the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. Whenever the questions are asked to the devotees, the answer will be cited based on some conversation between the Lord and his devotees. For example, in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, so Vasudeva, the father of Krishna, so he comes to know the Lord is going to end his Bhauma Leela. Bhauma Leela means earthly pastime soon. Then he started repenting. Though I'm the father of Krishna, I did not take advantage of his association. I missed a great opportunity. So that was his consciousness. Then that time Narad Muni comes. So when Narad Muni comes, So he inquires from Narad Muni. So he inquires from Narad Muni about the pure devotional service, because the pure devotional service is the one which frees one from all kinds of fear. Then on Narad Muni answers Vasudeva's query by referring to the previous conversation which had happened between Navayogendra and King Nimi. So here also Shukadev Goswami is answering Parikshit Maharaj by referring to the Lord version. He first answers the relationship of the jiva with body is unreal, and like a dreamer seeing his dream body. And Jiva always thinks in terms of me and mine. It is called as aham mameti. Then when he gets in touch with the Lord through bhakti, he becomes free from misconception of me and mine, or I and mine. So he further answers the Lord, the presented his eternal and transcendental form before the Brahma, because Brahma has performed a great penance in Bhakti Yoga. So last week we have seen how the Lord shown Vaikunta to Lord Brahma. So Vaikunta is a supreme planet. It is adored by all self-realized person, free from suffering. So confusion, influence of mode, time, and Maya. That's the reason it's called as Vaikunta. Vai means, so that place, and Vai means there is no, Kunta means suffering. There is no Kunta there. So then also we have seen in that, and further in the text 11 and 12, we have seen the inhabitants of Vaikunta. They're always like glowing, like a sky bluish complexion. They are all having lotus eyes, dressed in yellow garment. They are always youthful. So they are effulgent, and they are always having a pleasing demeanor, and they are all four-handed form and having shining earrings and crowns and garland. And they are all more or less, they are similarly look exactly as the Lord. So when we see there are five kinds of liberation, Salokya Sasti Samipya. So in that, there are five kinds of liberation, but out of that Sahajya Mukti, the Vaishnavas, they don't consider it as a part of Mukti. Sahajya means merging with the Lord. So which Vaishnava Acharyas, they don't recommend us. So other four things are left. What is that? Salokya, Samipya, Sasti, and Sarupya. Salokya means having the same planet as the Lord. Then Samipya means living near the Lord. Sarupya means having the same form of the Lord. Then Sasti means having the same opulence of the Lord. Here in Vaikunta, everybody is having same opulence, same everything like Lord Vishnu. And they're all having four-handed forms. They all wear yellow garments. They're all having shining earrings, crowns, etc. But only thing, what difference it makes between them and Lord Vishnu is the Kaustuba. So Kaustuba is present on the chest of the Lord Vishnu, but all the Vaikuntavasis, they don't have. With that Kaustuba, we can distinguish he is the Supreme Lord or not. So way back in 2002, and these narrations of different planetary system has wonderfully given in Bruhad Bhagavatamritam. Bruhad Bhagavatamritam is a literature given by Srila Sanatana Goswami, so who is disciple of Srila. I mean, he is one of our Acharya. He is one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. They are the direct disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in that, this Vaikunta section comes. There is a devotee by name Gopakumar, and he, after traveling all this 14 planetary system. Finally, he reaches Vaikuntha. So there, our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bibi Govinda Maharaj, he gave a full seminar for almost 2 weeks on this Brihad Bhagavatamritam. So there he was mentioning in Vaikuntha. So what they do is they come out of the house. Now they have to go to the assembly of Lord Vishnu. What they do? They will immediately take their flight, their airplanes. They all have their own airplanes. The family members, they sit there and they go to the place. And again, after reaching there, then those airplanes, they're all condensed type, just you can fold it and keep in some place. That kind of opulence is available in Vaikuntha. So that is the planet which we all aspire to go. So therefore, the Lord says, whoever goes to that planet, they will never return. Yad gatva mam nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Okay. So today we'll start from, I need to start from 11 or 14, Prabhu?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. In WhatsApp, we kept 14, but Prabhuji, last time we covered up to 10, na?
I think, no, Prabhu, he's covered. He just simply read the
summary.
Translation. Yeah.
He spoke summary also.
Yes.
Fine.
Okay. So we'll start from today's verse. Shloka number 14. Shriryatra rupani vurugaya padayoho karoti manam bahuda vibhutibihi prenkam sritaya kusumakaranugaye vigiyamana priyakarma gayati.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The goddess of fortune in her transcendental form is engaged in the loving service of the Lord's lotus feet, and being moved by the black bees, followers of spring. She is not only engaged in variegated pleasure, service to the Lord, along with her constant companions, but is also engaged in singing the glories of the Lord activities. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So here what's mentioned, the goddess of fortune, she is serving the Lord. So how do we know? So we have a doubt, right? So who has seen? So Lord Brahma confirms in the very first verse of Brahma Samhita, what he says? Chintamani prakara sadmashu kalpa vriksha lakshavrateshu surabhi palayantam Lakshmi sahasrashata sambrama sevyamanam Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bajami. So the gopis, the Lakshmis, hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis, they are serving the Lord. They are serving at the lotus feet of the Lord always. So we have seen the photos, right, where Lord Vishnu is residing on the ocean of milk, that is Kshira Sagara, and Lakshmi is sitting at the lotus feet of the Lord, and she is massaging his lotus feet. That is the mood of Lakshmi. There in spiritual world, so everybody wants to serve the Lord. Nobody has got any personal, agenda there. Everybody wants to serve the Lord to their capacity. So when we hear all these things, so sometimes we like this world is so competitive, right? There are so many wonderful devotees. So how can we go to the spiritual world? But it's not like that. So each and every jiva has got a particular relationship with Lord. So the Lord always encourage each and every one of us to go back to him and serve him eternally. So now this is a month of Kartik. In Kartik, the famous Leela took place. What is that? That is
Damodar Leela.
Damodar Leela.
Yeah. So what is Damodar Leela, Prabhu? Somebody quickly say in a short, less than a minute.
where the two brothers, Manigriva and this thing, they get
Before that,
a
why
liberation from there.
why he is known as Damodar?
Basically, Ma Yashoda wants to tie Lord Krishna with the rope. So always she takes, it becomes a little less. So how much of she wants to bring, always it becomes little less. Then at the last, Lord Krishna himself blesses, so she was able to tie Krishna.
Very nice, Prabhu. Very nice, Uday Prabhu. So why Lord is known as Damodara? Dama means what? Udara means what?
Udara means that stomach.
Prabhu,
Then
Damo is Rassi. That is the.
Yes, Sushil Prabhu. Dama means Rassi, rope, and Udara means belly. So Yashoda tied him. So you can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is getting bound by the rope of love. It is not the rope he is getting bound by the rope of love of Yashoda. So the same Lord, when he comes, he incarnate as a Varaha. So he comes with such a gigantic form. So there is a beautiful verse from Varaha Purana, which says, Yadro Marandra Paripurti Varaha Daksha Varaha Janmani Babuva Rami Samudra Tam Namanata Aravinda Dasham Yashoda Panir Dvayantam Snapanam Babuvaha. Which means when Lord Varaha comes, like we all have got this, force, right, on our body. Like there are so many of them. So when Varaha comes, each pore was so gigantic. To fill that pore, you required one ocean practically. So such is the form of the Lord. So you can imagine, what is the form of the Varaha. Whereas that same Supreme Personality of Godhead, he comes here as Damodar, wherein Yashoda can bath him in just a half bucket of water. So that's the beauty. Why Lord is doing all these things? He wants all of us to take back to his abode. The main reason why Lord incarnates here is to reclaim conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead. Otherwise, like Paritrana Sadhunam Vinashaya Chudishkutam Dharma Samstapanartaya, all these things he need not to come here. He can, sitting there in his spiritual world, he can do it. But he comes here and he perform all this lila so that the conditioned souls will get attracted to the Lord. And so then we can at least we aspire to go back home, back to Godhead. So each and every person has got a special service in the Vaikuntha planet. It's not only restricted to exalted devotees, like in this case, it is Lakshmi. Then if you go to Goloka pastime of Vrindavana, there you have Srimati Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, Astasaki. Then when it comes to Sakas, you have Subal, Madhumangal, Sudam, Sridham. So then, they are all such an exalted personalities. In front of them, who we are. But it's not like that. So the spiritual world has got variegatedness, and Krishna reciprocates with everyone. So here also same thing is happening. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is always serving the Lord. So that is what it's mentioned in the text 14. So we move on to text 15. Tadarsh tatra kila satvatam patim Shriyapatim Yagnapatim Jagatpatim Sunandananda Prabalarha Prahlanadibihi Swapasha Dagrihi Pariveshitam Vibhuhu.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma was in the Vaikuntha planets, the personality of Godhead. who is the Lord of the entire devotee community, the Lord of the goddess of fortune, the Lord of all sacrifices, and the Lord of the universe, and who is served by the foremost servitors like Nanda, Sunanda, Prabala, and Arha, his immediate associates. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. When we speak of a king, it is naturally understood that the king is accompanied by his confidential associates like his secretary, private secretary, aide de camp, ministers, and advisors. So also, when we see the Lord, we see him with his different energies, associates, confidential servitors, etc. So the Supreme Lord, who is the leader of all living entities, the Lord of all devotees, devotee sects, the Lord of all opulences, the Lord of sacrifice, and the enjoyer of everything in his entire creation, is not only the Supreme Person, but also is always surrounded by his immediate associates, all engaged in their loving transcendental service to him. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. So in this verse, so what is mentioned is there are few words here. One is Satvatampati. Satvatampati means, what is Satvatampati means? So Satvata means he is the uh, he is a well-wisher of the devotees, who is taking care of his devotees. So Satvata means the people who are pious people who are engaged in devotional service, they are called as Satvata. And Lord, and the Supreme Lord, he is the Pati of them, means he is the Lord of the devotees, in other words. So whoever surrendered to him, he takes care of them. Then other word is here mentioned as Shriyapati. Shriyapati means, Sri means goddess of fortune. So he is the husband of goddess of fortune. Then he is also known as Yagnapati. So whatever the performance of sacrifice we do, and the benefactor is Krishna. So in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, the Lord says, Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So he is the benefactor of all 5 sacrifices. So whenever any kind of performance they do it, the ahutis they will offer it to Lord, and that will be accepted by the Lord. So that is he is known as Yagnapati, and he is also known as Jagatpati. He is the one who is giving shelter, and he is taking care of all the living entities within this 14 planetary system, and like this many universes. So he is Jagannath, he is the Lord of universe. So then further, this abode is guarded by many gatekeepers. Like, who are they? Nanda, Sunanda, and all these people, they are all constantly, they are serving the Lord. And like how whenever the king, he visits other place, he will not go alone, right? He goes with his complete entourage. Like, for example, here the Sheikh Mohammed, so he wants to visit one place, he will not come alone. But he used to, way back in 1999, 2000, he would take his Mercedes and he would go to all government departments to see how they are functioning. But now he's not doing more. No, I mean, he's doing that no more because of the security threat. So that time he goes with the entourage. He goes with the security, or he goes with all ministers. Similarly, king also, when king comes, he will not go alone. He goes with many of his associates. Like whenever this King Salman, the Saudi king, whenever he visits other place, what he does, he goes with many planes. So they carry everything, including drinking water. So they don't take anything the country which they are visiting. So so that is that like that when these people can do it. So what about Lord? So the Lord also he comes with his own entourage, and so and he comes with all his associates, like they're all served by Nanda, Sunanda, Prabala, Arhana, and these are all his immediate associates. So that is what being discussed in this text, and we
But
have moved.
Prabhu, these are the names of those Gwalbals also, no?
Yes, correct. So yeah, gatekeepers will come a little later. Okay. Yes, bro. Okay, move on to text 16. Okay, text 16. Vrutya prasadhabimukam drug आशवम् प्रसन्नः सारुण लोचनाननं किरीटिनं कुण्डलिनं चतुर्भुजं पीतांकुशं वक्षसि लक्षितां श्रियः.
Hare Krishna. Translation. The personality of Godhead, seen leaning favorably towards his loving servitors, is very sight intoxicating and attractive, appeared to be very much satisfied. He had a smiling face decorated with an enchanting reddish hue. He was dressed in yellow robes and wore earrings and a helmet on his head. He had 4 hands, and his chest was marked with the lines of the goddess of fortune. Purport. In the Padma Purana, Uttarakhanda, there is a full description of the Yogapita, or the particular place where the Lord is in audience to his eternal devotees. In that Yogapita, the personifications of religion, knowledge, opulence, and renunciation are all seated at the lotus feet of the Lord. The 4 Vedas, namely Rig, Sama, Yajur, and Atharva, are present there personally to advise the Lord. The 16 energies headed by Khanda, Chanda are all present there. Chanda and Kumuda are the first 2 doorkeepers. At the middle door are the doorkeepers named Bhadra and Subhadra, and at the last door are Jaya and Vijaya. There are other doorkeepers also named Kumuda, Kumudaksha, Pundarika, Vamana, Shenkukarna, Sarvanetra, Sumukha, etc. The Lord's palace is well decorated and protected by the above mentioned doorkeepers. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. So here further it's mentioned about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Lord is always smiling. So, if you look at the face of the Lord, it is so enchanting, it's so intoxicating, it is so attractive. So, and whoever sees the Lord, you will get satisfaction immediately. For example, we all go to the temples to have the darshan of the Lord. So, with the great, especially when you go to Tirupati, so you have to do real severe austerity. You have to go at least minimum, you have to wait 1 hour. So you will go in the queue, and you will be having darshan of the Lord, even just like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. But even that itself is enough. The moment you look at the face of the Lord, it is so intoxicating, it's so attractive. So can what do when you see the face, when you see the Lord face to face, we can imagine what is the impact. So that is the beauty of the Lord. So he's always smiling. Again, he's also dressed in yellow robes, and he's wearing earrings, helmets, and he's having 400 palms, and his chest was marked with Kaustuba gem. So these are all the attributes of the Lord. And I think some times ago, like our Radhapat Pankaj Prabhu has shown you Goloka chart. Do you remember?
Yes, Prabhuji, we remember.
Yeah.
The
So
Goloka
there
chart.
you have seen, right? So the 8 directions, all the 8 directions are guarded by all these personalities
Yeah.
like Jaya, Vijaya, Chanda, Kumuda, and they're all the gatekeepers. They are guarding this entire Vaikuntha planet. And the four Vedas, they were at the lotus feet of the Lord. They are ready for them to serve any guidance required by the Lord. Of course, Lord doesn't require anything, but just they are there. And similarly, the four Purusharthas, Dharmartha, Kama, Moksha, that also they are always residing at the lotus feet of the Lord. So, but when they descend on this material world, they are having their particular responsibility, they are having their particular duties. But in spiritual world, in Vaikuntha planet especially, they are there. So if possible, I'll try to show the chart if we have time. So this is what is being mentioned in this text 16. And again, so the Lord palace is well decorated, and it's like we have seen right in Vaikuntha planet, Chintamani. So even everywhere you will find Chintamanis, touchstones. Not only touchstone, it is decorated with beautiful jewels and gems and whatnot. Even we don't imagine all those things are there. So one time, again, it's from Brihad Bhagavatamritam. So like Yudhishthira built for Yudhishthira, the Vishwaksena has built a palace. It's called as Indraprastha. So then the same thing, the Yadavas, they wanted to do it for Lord Krishna. So then they have a discussion, for our Lord, we have to have a wonderful palace. So which one is the best? Then they go to the different part of the world and even to the higher planetary system to see which palace is the best. So they go to the, Indraprastha. So there, in Mahabharata, there's a beautiful description of Indraprastha, how it was there. Like it is like now we have this modern architecture, right? So it's much better than that. So it looks like it's all glossy and it is very transparent. It looks as there is water, but there was no water. But in other place, it was a real pool. So, but Duryodhana mistaken it. In first place he thought then if there is a water, so he tried to lift his dhoti and he walks. But in the next place there was no water there. Then further he goes. There actually there was actual water. There was a small pond, but he didn't realize that. He fell into that. So like all these things. This is the beauty of Pandava's palace in the Prastha. Then Brahma's palace is much opulent. So it changes colors every day. You on all the walls are transparent. Then it changes its colors according to the climate, according to the season, according to the time. It keep on changing. And much better than Brahma's is Indra's. Indra's palace was also super exorbitant. It is so amazing. So then finally, this Yadavas, they like this Indra's palace. And immediately what they do, they go and they completely bring that palace from Amaravati, they brings it down to Dwaraka. So they fight with Indra and get that palace and they bring it here. So these are the description of the palace. But this is in again material world. So what to speak of spiritual world? It is unimaginable. All the walls, all the pillars are decorated with so many opulent gems. All these things. That is what is being mentioned in this verse. We have moved to text 17. Okay. आद्यार्हणीय सवनम् आस्तितं परं वृतं चतु षोडश पञ्चशक्तिभिः युक्तं भागैस्वै इतरतरा चाद्रुवैः स वै धामान् रममानम् ईश्वरम्.
Hare Krishna. Babu.
Yes.
The Lord was translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Shri. The Lord was seated on his throne and was surrounded by different energies like the 4, the 16, the 5, and the 6 natural appearances, along with other insignificant energies of the temporary character. But he was the factual Supreme Lord, enjoying his own abode. The Lord is naturally endowed with his 6 appearances. Specifically, he is the richest, he is the most powerful, he is the most famous, he is the most beautiful, he is the greatest in knowledge, and he is the greatest renouncer as well. And for his material creative energies, he is served by 4, namely the principle of Prakriti, Purusha, Mahatattva, and Ego. He is also served by the 16, namely the 5 elements earth, water, air, fire, and sky. The 5 perceptive sense organs, the eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin. The 5 working senses organs, the hand, leg, stomach, the evacuation outlet, and the genital, and the mind. The 5 includes the sense objects, namely form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. All these 25 items serve the Lord in the material creation, and all of them are personally present to serve the Lord. The insignificant opulences numbering 8, the Ashtasiddhis attained by yogis for temporary overlordship, are also under his control. But he is naturally full with all such powers without any effort, and therefore he is the Supreme Lord. The living being, by severe penances and performance of bodily exercise, can temporarily attain some wonderful power, but that does not make him the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, by his own potency, is unlimitedly more powerful than any yogi. He is unlimitedly more learned than any jnani. He is unlimitedly richer than any wealthy person. He is unlimitedly more beautiful than any beautiful living being. And he is unlimitedly more charitable than any philanthropist. He is above all. No one is to equal to or greater than him, nor can anyone reach his level of perfection in any of the above powers by any amount of penances or yogic demonstrations. The yogis are dependent on his mercy. Out of his immensely charitable disposition, he can award some temporary powers to the yogis because of the yogis hankering after them. But to his unalloyed devotees who do not want anything from the Lord save and accept his transcendental service, the Lord is so pleased that he gives himself in exchange for unalloyed service. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. And here the Lord is sitting on his throne, and which is surrounded by his energies. Like first is mentioned as 4. What are the 4? 4 principles of Purusha, Prakriti, Mahatattva, and Ego. So, from the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you already know what is Prakriti. Prakriti is a material principle, and it's a substance. It is a manifestation, and it's a material. It is without divine power. So what is Purusha? The Purusha is spiritual principle. It is a spirit, and it is a cause of all the causes, and it is divine. Like, if you remember the shloka from 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Purusha Prakritisto hi bhungte Prakritijan gunai karanam guna sangosya sad asad janma yonisu. So Purusha, there Lord is talking about Purusha, Prakriti. So and then what is the cause of we taking different bodies? Because we are always constantly in touch with this Prakriti. So because we have forgotten Purusha. So that is being talked about here. Then what about Mahatattva? Mahatattva also, we have discussed in the last class also. So there are three things. So nice. Pradhana, Prakriti, and Mahatattva. So what is Pradhana? Pradhana is material nature in its subtle stage. Okay. So then the reaction of the total elements does not take place. It is undifferentiated sum total of all material elements, and cause and effects are clearly manifested. It is avyakta, and it is not time element. And the condition of the material nature immediately previous to its manifestation is called as pradhana. In simple words, if you want to say, when the material energy is non-manifested and it is non-differentiated, that is called as pradhana. Then again, Prakriti is, it's a manifestation of total material elements, and the materials are manifested by the interaction with the three modes of material nature. It is again, the pradhana is unmanifested and undifferentiated, whereas Prakriti is manifested but non-differentiated. Then Mahatattva is combination of these two. It is manifested as well as differentiated. If you remember, like some times ago when I took the class here, we talked about this. I shown you on presentation, and that presentation also shared to you all by our Subal Prabhu. He has shared with you. You can go back and refer to it. So then the next, it's mentioned about 16 elements. What are the 16 elements? 10 sense organs. So, 5 sense organs and 5 working senses. Then he's also served 5 elements. 5 elements is what? Panchabhuta. What are the Panchabhutas? Can somebody tell me?
Earth, water, air, fire, and sky.
Very nice. Okay. Then 5 sense organs.
Prabhu, eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and skin.
Very nice. Then what are the 5 working senses? Working sense organs?
Hand, leg, stomach, and evacuation outlet, and genital.
Okay. Then, so all this become 15. Then the mind. Mind is the 16th item. So that is what being referred here. That is 5 elements, then 5 sense organs, then 5 working senses, then the mind. Okay. So then in the next, it is mentioned the 5 elements. What are the 5 elements? Namely, they are tanmatras. They are form, taste, smell, sound, and touch. Then 6 opulences. So you all know 6 opulences. What are the 6 opulences?
Prabhu,
Full.
Carry on.
Or maybe one non-devotee can tell
Full
one.
fame.
Yeah.
Full fame. Full or unlimited fame. Yeah.
Okay. Next.
Renunciation.
Okay. Very good. Then.
Power.
Yeah. Strength. Power means strength. Yeah. Next.
Knowledge or intelligence.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Beauty.
Yes.
Wisdom and strength. Yeah. Power.
Okay. Very nice. Anybody remembers shloka?
Sloka, do not remember, Prabhuji.
Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya. Right? That's the one, right? Oh.
So humble request, try to remember the shlokas. If you remember the shlokas, it is easy to preach. So easy. How can you remember this? Aishwaryasya samagrasya means he has got the wealth that in full, in totality. Aishwaryasya samagrasya. Viryasya. He is having all the strength. Viryasya yashasaha. He is very famous. Then Shriyaha. He is very beautiful. Then Gnana. He is having all the knowledge. Then Vairagya. He is having all the renunciation. So that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Sannam Bhaga Itingana. So this is the 6 opulences the Lord is having. Then he's having, the next point is mentioned here is Ashta Siddhis. We all know about, we heard about it, right? There are 8 Siddhis like Anima, Lagima, Garima, Mahima, Prapti, Prakamya, Ishitva, and Vashitva. These are the different Siddhis. And Siddhis, to practice each Siddhis, you require, you have to practically spend one lifetime. There was one anecdote Srila Prabhupada gives. So there was a village. In one village, a boy, he leaves the village and he goes to Himalayas to attain some siddhi. So there he does tapasya for almost, 40, 50 years he does tapasya. Then after he attains some siddhi and he comes back. And so when he comes back, he is away from the village for so many years, right? So all the villagers, they are very happy to see him back. They gave him a warm welcome and they gave him, nice reception, everything. And finally that the panchayat head, he asked, my dear boy, what you have done? You have spent so many years. What siddhi you have attained? So then he says, okay, I cannot tell you what I have attained. Tomorrow you call all the villagers, then I will show what is my siddhi. So then all the next day, all the villagers gathered to see what siddhi he has attained. So then they all go. There was a village in that particular river, in that village. So in that village there was a river. All those people, they go to the bank of the river. Then he started walking on the river. On the water he can walk. So that siddhi is called as Lagima, means he'll become lighter than the lightest. So he does that, and many people, they start clapping, and they're all appreciating, they're praising him. But there was one elderly person, then he does that and he comes back. Then he says, my dear boy, now he's no more boy. So you really wasted your life. Then he becomes perplexed. Why are you saying that? Then he says, the siddhi, what you have attained, it is just, worth of 25 fils, 25 paise. Because those days, to cross, the river from this shore to that shore, just you have to spend 25. It used to be 4 annas those days. You have to, it's equivalent to 25 paise. So for just to save 25 paise, you have wasted your life. So like that also, we go after all these siddhis, and it doesn't gives us, the real goal of life. What are we going to do with this siddhi? To impress someone, right? It's not required. And also the yogis, the yogis will have one special power. They can manifest themselves in 9 forms. That's the maximum a yogi can do it. But that 9 forms also will be doing the same thing as what is being done in the first form. For example, the yogi, he started raising his arm. So all the people, all the other 8 forms will also do the same thing. If we start eating, all other 8 forms also has to eat. But Krishna is known as Yogeshwara. So he is not like that. He can manifest n number of forms, like we have seen, right? 16,108 times he manifested himself. So it was like the marriage of Nagnajit. Nagnajiti, not Nagnajiti, Satya. Satya, how did Krishna marry Satya? Anybody remember?
Probably by that bull putting the rope in the nose of the bull.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. So, can you remember? Can you tell to the whole class? Just in short, you tell. How many bulls were there?
I think there were 8 bulls.
7 bulls.
7. Okay, and there was a challenge from the Satya's father that those bulls were very wild. Whoever puts the rope in the nose, after that the bulls come in control. So many of them tried, nobody could win, and obviously Bhagwan could win. This is roughly what I remember, Prabhuji.
Okay, Subal Prabhu, correct me. Is it Satya or it is Nagnajit? Okay, one of these two. Okay, so thank you, Nehal Mataji. So you understood the past time, right? So that time, then that Satya's father or Nagnajit's father, whoever father it is, he wanted to give his daughter to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the reason he has arranged this Swayamvara, where all 7 bulls are there. They are really very terrifying. And many princes comes, but everybody, with just one bull, they have gone. But now Krishna has comes, he immediately expands himself into 7 and he fight with each bull. And finally he defeats the bull. And that time, and Nagnajit or Satya, whoever it is, and she was happy. Oh, now I become the princess. Now I'm become the princess. Become the queen of the Lord. Then for a split of the second, she thought, I am the 8th one, 8th wife of Krishna. And so she thought it for a split of a second. Because now, like Rukmini is there, Satyabhama is there, Jambavati is there, and there are so many people are there. So among them, who am I? I'm a very insignificant, right? 8th one. But immediately, Krishna understood that. Krishna, he's seated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. And before we would think of something, he knows what's happening in our mind. So immediately, he expanded into 7 and he said, look, it's not the case, I'll manifest, I will stay with you all the times with my, extended form, which he did it. Not only he expanded only 8 forms, he expanded 16,108 forms. So there's a beautiful description in Srimad Bhagavatam 11th Canto. So every day, what Krishna would do, and in each and every house, Krishna would do different activities. So in one house, once Narad Muni wanted to see what Krishna's household life. Then he visits, Krishna's one house. There, Krishna is, got up and he is doing the deity worship. Then he goes to the other house. There he is doing some fire sacrifice he is doing. He goes to the other place, the third house. There he is, he's helping, his wife in cooking. Then like this, Krishna is performing unlimited activities, not the, like symmetrical, not all same activities, different activities he performs. That is, then finally, whenever he wants to go to the Sudharma is the assembly hall in Dwaraka. So he will visit that. So whenever he comes, what he would do, from all 16,108 palaces, the Krishna will come, and all the forms will come and will merge in one, and there will be one chariot, one rath will come, and he will sit on the rath. Then he will go to the assembly. In the assembly, he is only one person. But again, when he comes back, again he will get down at one point, and he expands himself to 16,108, and he goes to different houses. That is the that is the reason why Krishna is called as Yogeshwara. And all these people have unlimited thing. but Krishna can do anything and everything. So this is what is being described here. So did we miss something? I will say from the purport. Yeah, so almost we covered everything. The yogis, yeah, yogis hanker after them, they want some temporary powers. And as I mentioned, they can expand maximum into 9 forms, and but all the 9 forms has to do the same thing. But with Krishna, it's not so. And Krishna he'll be doing the multiple task, multitasking. And so the devotees, they don't aspire for such siddhis. In 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a beautiful verse. It's done by a demon actually. His name is Vrutrasura. He says, na nakapristam na chaparyamestam na sarvabhaumyam na rasadipatyam na yoga siddhir apunarbhavanto va samanjasatva avinchatatve. He says, my dear Lord, I don't want any kingdom. I don't want any rasadipati. I don't want to become an emperor. So I don't want any yoga siddhi. What I want is, I want your causeless mercy. So like the devotees, they pray only for the causeless mercy of the Lord. And so Krishna will give all these temporary things, but he will not give the pure love of Godhead. Because if you become a pure devotee of the Lord, then you will be controlling the Lord. Like Yashoda Maya. What he is doing? He is binding Krishna. Can you imagine? And he is chasing him with the stick. And all the gopis, they would call Krishna, hey, Krishna, dance like this. And they would all sing and Krishna would dance. And they will say, if you dance like this, we will give you sweet balls. So, and like Krishna will be captured by his devotees' love. So that is the devotees, they don't aspire for any these temporary things, but they always aspire for pure devotional service. That's the reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Mama Janmani Janmanishwari Bhavatat Bhaktair Ahaituki Tvai. He says, I don't want Nasundarim, I don't want a beautiful wife, na janam nasundarim nam kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. I don't want any followers, I don't want a beautiful wives, I don't want a wealth, I don't want anything, but I want your devotional causeless mercy, life after life. So that is what being described here. So we'll move to the last verse for the day. Okay. Taddarshanāhlāda pariplūtāntaro hrishyatanu prema bharashtrulocanaha nanama padambujam asya vishvasrg yat paramahamsyena patadigamyate.
Lord Brahma, thus seeing the personality of the Godhead in his fullness, was overwhelmed with joy within his heart, and thus in full transcendental love and ecstasy, his eyes filled with tears of love. He thus bowed down before the Lord. That is the way of the highest perfection of all the living being, that is Paramhams. In the beginning of our Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that this great literature is meant for the Paramahansas. Parmo Nirmatsaran Satan. That is, the Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for persons completely free from malice. In the conditioned life, the malicious life begins from the top, namely, bearing malice against the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. The Personality of the Godhead is an established fact in all the revealed scriptures. And in Bhagavad Gita, the personal feature of the Supreme Lord is especially mentioned, so much so that the last portion of the great literature has emphatically stress that one should surrender unto the personality of the Godhead to be saved from the miseries of life. Unfortunately, persons with impious backgrounds do not believe in the personality of the Godhead, and everyone wants to become God himself without any qualification. This malicious nature in the conditioned soul continues even up to the stage when a person wants to be one with the Lord, and thus even the greatest of the empiric philosophers, speculating on becoming one with the Supreme Lord, cannot become a Paramhansa because the malicious mind is there. Therefore, the paramount stage of life can be attained only by those who are fixed in the practice of Bhakti Yoga. The Bhakti Yoga begins if a person has the firm conviction that simply discharging devotional service to the Lord in full transcendental love can elevate him to the highest perfectional stage of life. Brahmaji believed in this art of Bhakti Yoga. He believed in the instruction of the Lord to execute tap, and he discharged the function with great penance, and thus achieved the great success of seeing the Vaikuntha Lokas and the Lord also by the personal experience. No one can reach the abode of the Supreme Lord by any mechanical means of the mind or machine, but one can reach the abode of the Vaikuntha Loks simply by following the process of Bhakti Yoga, because the Lord can be realized only through the Bhakti Yoga process. Lord Brahmaji was actually sitting on his lotus seat, and from there, by executing the process of Bhakti Yoga in great seriousness, he could see the Vaikuntha Lokas with all variegatedness, as well as the Lord in person and his associates. Following in the footsteps of the Lord Brahma, any person, even up to this day, that can attain the same perfection by following the path of Paramahansa as recommended herein. Lord Chaitanya, who also approved of this method of self-realization for men in this age, one should first, with all conviction, believe in the personality of the Godhead Shri Krishna, and without making efforts to realize it, and without making efforts to realize him by speculative philosophy. One should prefer to hear about him from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, uh, and later from the text of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should hear such discourses from a person, Bhagavatam, and not from the professional man or from the Karmi, Jnani, or Yogi. This is the secret of learning of science. One does not need to be in the renounced order of life. He can remain in the present condition of life, but he must search out the association of a bona fide devotee of the Lord and hear from him the transcendental message of the Lord with faith and conviction. This is the path of Paramans recommended herein. Amongst various holy names of the Lord, he is also called Ajit, or one who can never be conquered by anyone else. Yet he can be conquered by Paramahansa path, as practically realized and shown by the great spiritual master Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma has personally recommended this Paramahansa path in his own words as follows: ज्ञाने प्रयास मुत्पास्य नमन्त एव जीवन्ति सन्मुख अरिता भवदीय वातम स्थाने स्थिता श्रुतिगता तनु वांग मनोवी ये प्रायोचित जित्योसी तस्लिक्यों. Lord Brahma said, O my Lord Krishna, a devotee who abandons the path of empiric philosophical speculation aimed at merging in the existence of the Supreme and engages himself in hearing your glories and activities from a bona fide sadhu or saint, and who lives an honest life in the occupational engagement of a social life, can conquer your sympathy and mercy even though you are Ajit or unconquerable. That is Bhagavatam 10.14.3. This is the path of the Paramahansa, which was personally followed by Lord Brahma and later recommended by him for attaining perfect success in life. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Sushil Prabhu. Such a wonderful verse and wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada. So, Tad Darshana Ahlada. So, Brahma see the Lord face to face. So, what happened to him? He was overwhelmed with the joy within his heart. So, it happens, right? Whenever you are overwhelmed tears start flowing from our eyes. Same thing happening to Brahma here. And many people challenge us, right? Have you seen the Lord? Here you see, there's evidence. The Lord Brahma is having the personal darshan of the Lord. So this is the way how we can understand. Like then what happened to him? As soon as he saw the Lord, he became, ecstatic. His eyes filled with tears of love, and then immediately he offered his obeisances. He bowed down to the Lord, and actually, this is what is a perfect stage for a living entity. So to have the personal darshan of the Lord, that will be the ultimate. Even Kunti Maharani says, she says, Vipadaha Santuta Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagadguru Bhavato Darshanad Yatsa Apunarvava Darshanad. She says, oh my Lord, give me calamities again and again. Why she is praying for that? Whenever there is a calamity, the Lord will be personally present by the side of Pandavas. So then they have an opportunity to see the Lord. When they see the Lord, again, there is no apunarbhava darshana. There is no punarjanma. So that is a perfection. That is, what a Paramahamsas aspire to have. They want to see the darshan of the Lord. But we devotees, practitioners, we sadhakas, how can we see the Lord? So we are not on that level. If you want to see that Lord, so we should have that special eye. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hrudayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundara machintya gunaswarupam Govinda madi purusham tamaham bhajami. He says, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. We should have a special ointment which is known as love of Godhead. If we apply that, then we can see the Lord. But we are not on that level. But there's we need not to be discouraged by this, because we are seeing the Lord through Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is giving the darshan of the Lord. So what else we require? Then here in the first paragraph, Srila Prabhupada talks about the Srimad Bhagavatam. This literature is meant for Paramahamsas. Who are the Paramahamsas? They are having one qualification. What is that? Nirmatsaranam satam. They are not envious of others. They are always, they are suhridam sarva bhutanam. They are always well-wisher of others. So, like, one should not have any grudge against anyone. So that is a prime qualification to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we do that, we can understand Srimad Bhagavatam very easily. But we have any ulterior motive, and we have some, some bad thoughts and other things, it will become difficult. But anyway, no problem. But as we keep on hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, that also will be eroded. That will be cleansed. So that's what is being mentioned in the first paragraph. And again, in the second paragraph, in the later part of the first paragraph, Srila Prabhupada talks about Paramahamsa stage. So Paramahamsa is a Uttamadhikari. So there are two. There is a bird which is called swan, and the Hamsa. Hamsa, what does it do? It do, even if you give Hamsa two things, the milk mixed with water, it only drink milk. The water part it leaves aside. So that thing the Lord will be, the Paramahamsas are like that. They can discern between the material thing and the spiritual thing. So that's the quality of Paramahamsas. So though they are living here, they know that they are not be attracted by this material world. So they are totally aloof from this material activities. So we should reach that stage. So if you remember in the first canto of fifth chapter, during Narada's instruction to Vasudev, we saw one verse which talked about, it says, Nayad vachaschit prapadam harer yasho jagat pavitram pragranita karhichit tadvayasam tirtam ushanti manasa nayat prahamsa niramantu shikshaya. So there Narad Muni is telling Vasudev, there are two kinds of literature in this world. One is the mundane literature, other one is Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the glorification of the Lord, which will be accepted by all the Paramahamsas. Whereas other mundane literatures also, there are many followers for that. That, the Srimad Bhagavatam tells, Narad Muni tells those scriptures as the scriptures for the crows. It's a pilgrimage for the crows. Where does the crow congregate? Where the crow assemble? In a filthy place where the garbage is thrown, right? But Paramhamsas are not like that. The Hamsas, where they will be, they will go to the serene, beautiful place, nice water, clean lake. In this place, the Hamsa stays. Similarly, the Paramahamsas is that level. And that is being talked about in this verse. And again, how can, in the third paragraph, Prabhupada talks about how can we get to the that stage? Simply by following the footstep of Brahma. So we can do that. The Paramahamsas, they have recommended this process to us, devotional service. Just chant and read Srimad Bhagavatam. So then again, he wants from whom we should hear. We should not hear from any professional reciters. You know how much the professional reciters, they charge for reciting Srimad Bhagavatam? They conduct Bhagavat Saptah, 7 days they conduct. So they charge, crores of rupees for this, giving this discourse. Of course, if we hear from such people, it doesn't give any benefit. So Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, he talks about this, like he says, if we are listening from Srimad Bhagavatam from the non-devotee's mouth, then it will be like sarpochistam yatapayaha. So means like we are drinking a milk which is touched by the serpent. So the serpent comes to drink the milk. So then what happens? It leaves some portion of poison in there. So unknowingly we go and drink that. So what is the result? Our body will become poisonous. We will die. So we should not be, listening from the professional reciters. Then we may think, like Prabhu, I'm a grihastha, I have family responsibility, I have children, I cannot do all those things. So it doesn't matter. Then what Brahmaji says, he says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Gnane prayasam udapasya namantaiva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiyavartam stane stitha shrutigatam tanuvan manobhir ye prayaso ajito jito asi tais trilokyam. So it doesn't matter. Stane stita, in whatever the position you are there, in whatever the occupation you are doing it, do it. But take this, take up to this chanting and, hearing about Srimad Bhagavatam and scriptures. That's enough. Associate with the devotees and perform all your activities. Don't go behind, the path of empirical philosophy, speculating. All this not required. Nane prayasa. He says those are all, just a prayasa. It's an unwanted endeavor. Just do this, devotional service. By doing what happens? Ye prayaso ajita jitopi yas trilokyam. So just simply by engaging in devotional service, so what happens to us? We can conquer ajita. So Krishna cannot be conquered by anyone, but simply by following Srimad Bhagavatam and taking up this process of chanting and performing devotional service to him, he will get conquered. Just, how Yashoda conquered him, how the gopis conquered him. how Vidura conquered him. There are so many wonderful examples from the Shastras. It is not, somebody is speculating and telling. These are also proven method. So with this, we end the session here. Thank you so much. Any questions or any comments? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hey, everybody become silent. So can you turn on your videos?
Sure.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, it was king of Koshala and the daughter was Satya only.
Satya. Okay.
Yeah, I have a book. I can show that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Jai. But while saying that, I got it confused. So I didn't want to.
No, you were correct, Prabhuji. Ekdam correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Krishna manifested into 7 forms, and he was king of Koshala.
Okay. Thank you, Mati.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Anybody has any question?
Prabhuji, I want to show something.
Sure, Mati. Jai.
Jai.
Yashoda Damodar ki Jai.
Jai.
I've made a small Gokul here and a tiny Krishna running after throwing all the makhan.
Jai.
Then tied up.
Did
Like
you
this,
do
I've made
Damodar
a
Arti,
small Gokul.
Mataji?
Sorry, Prabhuji?
Did you do Damodar Arti?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I do it every day.
No. Okay. With this decoration, did you invite some devotees?
Yes, Prabhuji, no, but there are no devotees around me. I do it all by myself.
No, not necessarily devotees. Call some your friends, your relatives. Okay, do the arti and tell them about this Damodar Leela.
Okay, Prabhuji, I will do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So please do it and also give them some prasadam, whatever you can.
Yes, Prabhuji, I will.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anybody has any question or no? Okay, fine. Prabhu, many thanks for this wonderful class. Hare Krishna. So let's do Vaishnava Pranam Mantra before we.
No, before that, Prabhu, Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Ki Jai.
Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Panchakalpataru.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यः कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनन्तकोटिवैष्णवेभ्यो प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai.
Prabhu, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.